Alrighty, today we had a weather window, something that hasn't happened in over a month, since I think I've been out past the reef or even out to the reef. But today's winds were in the sixes, downs of twos, threes for the whole day. Basic summer weather conditions that hasn't occurred in, like I said, for almost 4 to 6 weeks. So it was a great day. The other thing I primarily wanted to do today was to get out and do some trolling. Since I haven't been out in such a long time, I kind of wanted to test the waters and check things out, take a look at see what the conditions are on the reef. If the conditions were okay, I'd head out to the wrecks, see what the watercolor was like, the weeds are moving through or not, if there's bait, if there's birds. So plan to just troll as much as possible, hit a bunch of different areas, maybe stop off at the wrecks, check them out, see if there's any activity there. The main reason for that also is gets good mileage in, but also on Wednesday, looking not so bad. I mean, the winds pick up and get back into double digits, but it's coming from the north, so it comes over the Keys, so that usually takes the waves down quite a bit. So even though it's windier, the waves are still kept down. So I could still pull off a Wednesday trip and then be a little bit more specialized on what kind of fishing I want to do. So that is going to be what happened today. All right, take a look at the video. Thank you. Here's the kayak rigged for offshore trolling and jigging, not taking any type of bait, so that cuts down on quite a bit. Taking 4 rods, 2 are my heavy duty TLD 30 trolling rigs, and then I'll have my jigging rod and a pitch rod, which I'll use in case I see any topwater activity. Just heading out of Geiger Key Launch, passing through the Boaters Channel and heading onto the flats. As you can kind of see by the water, it's still very milky looking, not so good for the inshore fishing. But with just all this wind and cold weather, that's just kind of what happens. This is Hawk's Channel. Basically, it runs from the flats to the patch reefs, about 20 to 30 foot depths. Just passed over the edge of the reef, and you can kind of take a look at the color of the water and kind of tell the big difference between the inshore and the offshore. This is the blue water everyone keeps talking about, and then varying degree it changes as the Gulf Stream gets closer and the deeper that you get, but much cleaner water out there. With the rods pointing out of each side, I get about a 14-foot spread. Today I'm running Rapala X-Wrap Magnum 30s, which are 30-foot diver plugs. For the jigging, I'm using my hand-assembled vertical jigs. They're the 4-ounce single assist hook and painted in the chartreuse and glow. I've got a video if you search back on how to make these. I'm jigging the USS Kendrick. It's at the 300-foot mark. There's 2 other boats with me. One is a guide boat, had a family on there, and they were just drifting a chicken rig with cut bait. And the second boat was drifting live pinfish, and I didn't see them catch anything while I was there. Picked up 2 myself using the hard jigs, which seem to work fairly well out there. This is basically an anatomy of a shark bite. Basically, you can kind of watch as I hook up to another, probably a jack. It wasn't really vibrating, but probably a fairly decent sized one. Bring it up like usual, just lift and reel, lift and reel. But if you keep an eye on the rod tip, you'll see down the line a bit, all of a sudden it'll look like it's just really taken off. Basically what happens there is that a shark's went ahead and grabbed it and is basically swimming away with it, and you go from a 3 to 5 pound fish to a 50 to 100 plus pound fish in a second there, and they can't even tell that they're hooked up. Most of the time sharks are very finicky, and especially the ones on the wrecks that are trained by all the fishermen, that they don't need to take the whole fish including the head. They could just take the best parts, and they'll just basically strip the fillets off. So all you'll see is that the first time it gets hit and it gets taken down, I fight it, keep on it, then I pull it free, or they let go. I start rolling it back up again, and then all of a sudden it'll be another big hit and a big takedown, and basically I can't really stop it. I just thumb the reel to try to put as much drag as I can without breaking it off, and just kind of hoping that they'll let go of it. And then eventually they'll let go, because they basically sucked off all the good parts of the fish and just basically leaving the head. And then at the end you'll see is that the reeling becomes very easy, and what you end up with is basically the skull. And that's kind of the anatomy of when you have shark problems. So generally on the wrecks, what happens is that as soon as that happens, then I'm pretty much out of there, because there's just really no chance that you can really horse a fish up past the sharks. Even if you can, it's not very fun, so I don't even worry about it, and I just head off to a different wreck. This time there was actually 2 sharks. I just glanced down and saw them both coming right up after the head, but as soon as they saw the camera hit the water, they were out of there. So they're pretty finicky. Trolled around to hit some other wrecks, but every wreck had 2, 3, 4 boats on them. So like I was saying, it was the first good weather in a month, so everybody was out, and I just knew the sharks were going to be all over the place. So decided to just troll for the rest of the day, and didn't have much luck. Pods of dolphin were around, so that was nice to see. Plus the nice sunset with all glass water. This is the clarity on the reef at about 18 foot. Much better. You have the offshore waters pushing in and kind of keeping things a little bit cleaner. We just need a few solid days of calmer winds, and that should help clear off the inshore and get that bite to pick up. And it's smooth sailing home on this glassy water. Wasn't the greatest catching days, but it was an excellent day for being out on the water on a non-windy day during the winter time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll try to catch something bigger next time. See ya.